You're watching SportsFource Extra on KTIV.
Welcome back, folks. Well, hey, we've already seen some great matchups on the gridiron, but don't worry, we've got a few more slobber knockers underneath the Friday night lights to get to, and that includes out in Marcus, Iowa, where the Royals of MMCRU, they've been piecing together quite the season to start. They're ranked third in Class A entering the night, and the Royals, they found themselves up against the Wolverines of South O'Brien. Wolverines, they enter the contest at 1-1 on the season. MMCRU up 20-0 late in the second. Royals line up a field goal attempt. Gage Johnson. No doubt on that bad boy. That's true, and the Royals are up 23-0 now. Nice boot, kid. MMCRU. They get the ball back just over a minute until the half. Eli Harpenoff takes the snap, pump fakes, delivers a bomb on the deep route to Johnson, who uses his legs to scamper in for the score. It's 30-0 at the break. Opening kick out of halftime. Wolverines barely get the kick off the ground. It'll bounce off Blake Barinsky, but Barinsky sticks with it, scoops it up, changes direction, makes a host of defenders miss, and the kid is off to the races up the sideline. He'll score, and it's 37-0 for MMCRU. Later in the third, it's the backups in on offense for the Royals, and Luke Kinty will fight his way into the end zone. That's 44-0. Royals win big 51-7. SportsFource's Irvin Doman was out in Marcus for this one. Take us through this big win for MMCRU, Irv.
Well, Jason, this game was pretty much a formality by about halftime. So the thing is that I want to focus on is what it really means for these Royals going forward. Now, they moved to 3-0 on the season, and with a dominant win like this, I would not be surprised if they move up in the Class A rankings going into next week. But more importantly, with such a large lead tonight, they were able to get their first string off the field and their second and third string on the field by about midway through the third quarter, which is exactly what Coach Kyle Oswald loves to see.
Said if we get the running clock, you're done. And they begged and begged and begged and begged, so I gave them 3 plays. But then they were great about it. I saw them building into the young guys on the sideline, coaching them up. That is definitely what we want to see out of a program. That is a team. That's a full team that's building into each other. And so hopefully they continue to make that happen, grow into the community as well.
I think just the ultimate goal for this whole team is just, winning this district this year. We've come up so close the past 2 years, and, just working week by week just to get down east. I think we can this year.
MMCRU, they travel to take on Sioux Central next week. That's all I have for Marcus. I'll then send things back to Jason in the studio.
All right, thank you very much, Irvin. By the way, big game at the beach. 2-0 Okoboji battling 9th-ranked Emmitsburg here. We'll pick up at half. It's a 1-point game, but this might be the play of the night. Asa Jacobson. Ehawks get a hold of him, but Jacobson won't go down. The kid sheds a couple more tackles. He'll shed another one. Why not break another one? Now he's got a blocker, and he will take it all the way for a 79-yard touchdown. What a play. We've been seeing some insane runs tonight, folks. Ehawks say we can do more than drive. They'll pass over to Creighton Rutledge in the end zone for another 6. However, the Pios, they respond. Trey Vanderpool, he'll give it off to Riker Wright, and he takes it right into the end zone. Pioneers run away with this one, 42-26.
Coming in, and we knew that they were going to muddy things up, and we needed a game like this to kind of check out where we were, and to have that game, it'd be a 1-point game at halftime, and to see the way the guys came out second half was it was a big test of kind of our character and kind of see how our guys would buckle down. So yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight.
Staying up at the lake, central line, George Little Rock taking on the Spirit Lake Indians, and the Indians come out strong. Lucas Beloit with a QB keeper. He'll sneak by the defense. We even lose him for a moment, but he takes this thing all the way for a 60-yard touchdown. Lions, they're not happy with that. They're going to try and respond themselves. Here's a handoff to Michelet Saddam, and Saddam takes it up the field for a nice 20-yard run. However, the Indians are fired up, folks. Beloit launches a pass downfield to Luke Schneider, and that looks a little too easy. That's a 39-yard touchdown. Spirit Lake, they win 35-7. Well, we've seen what most of the Iowa portion of Siouxland had to offer, but we do have 2 more states in our viewing area, including the Cornhusker State. We're in Wahoo. We have 2 2-0 teams in action in West Point Beamer and Bishop Neumann. One of these two going to take their first loss of the season tonight. Opening drive for the Cavs. Bo Fujian passes to Quinn Shutt on the outside. It'll move the chains, but that drive's cut short. Option pitch goes to Kobe Miller, but Emmanuel Figueroa forces the fumble, and the Cadets, they take over, and they capitalize. Mason Toelli with the quarterback draw, and he'll take this thing 62 yards to the house. This was a nail-biter at Bishop Neumann, but they win it 28-27. In David City, both Ponca and Aquinas looking for their first wins of the season here. Aquinas Catholic. First quarter is where we'll start here. Caden Cleveland tip pass falls into the arms of Jaron Teague, and Aquinas Catholic takes over in Ponca territory. 3 plays later, Luke Storm finds the end zone here, and the Monarchs are out in front 7-0. However, Ponca, they'd find their way onto the board as well. They end up scoring 17 unanswered. They win this thing 17-7. Out to North Platte. North Fork hitting the road to take on the Bulldogs here. Homecoming tonight for the Dogs. We'll pick things up second quarter. Keegan Klaus on the run, loses his shoe. But hey, he'll still get the first down there. However, North Fork would get the ball back. This is quarterback Cole Signer. He'll find Gavin Jarecki for a first down. However, the North Platte defense, they'd come up big. Blake Tonkinson, he'll come up with a sack. And then later on, Bulldogs, they get an Actually, later on, Tyler Handborg here. And he gets nothing. North Platte's defense comes up big with a stop. However, North Fork gets the win in this one, 41-13. From the Cornhusker State to the state with great faces and great places, where the Yankton Bucks are the top-ranked team in 11 AA. They were at home at historic Crane Youngworth Field taking on the Patriots of Douglas. Well, the Bucks, they've scored more than 40 points in each of their first 2 games this season. We'll pick things up in the first quarter. Yankton's opening drive, Jay Sidlachik takes the handoff, goes up the middle. We'll cut back to the outside, and Sidlachik will go all the way to the house, and that gives the Bucks a 7-0 lead early. We'll stay in the same quarter here. Yankton with it again. This time Tate Best will take it himself. Best goes 15 yards for the touchdown, and it's 14-0 Bucks. And they will keep on going. Edley Amaro takes the handoff this time. He'll take this thing 24 yards. That gives the Bucks a 21-0 lead. Yankton wins 63-6. How about a little 9-man action? Gayville Volun taking on top-ranked Freeman Marion Freeman Academy. Top team in 9AA off to a terrific start with 3 impressive wins. First quarter, Luke Peters takes the handoff for the Phoenix. He won't be stopped. 31 yards for the touchdown. That gives FMFA a 6-0 lead. On their next drive, this is Riley Shetter faking the handoff. He'll keep it, get to the outside. He'll go 60 yards to the end zone. FMFA, they win this one 61-6. Hey, time for FanForce. Let's go ahead and see where you, Siouxland, were at tonight. Michael Wolgan once again sending a game. He was at the MOC Floyd Valley Homecoming as they were taking on the Storm Lake Tornadoes. Another FanForce here. This is from Friar Doug Klein. Galen Catholic homecoming game against Sioux Central. Nice little sky right there. Nice little Iowa sunset right there, huh?